What is up, my bodyweight warriors, and welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you about the planche, the front lever, other straight arm skills, and why in particular you might be plateauing or not making progress in those skills. First of all, let me say that these skills are not something you're going to achieve in 3, 4, 5, 6 months unless you have a pretty decent level of genetics. With that being said, based on my experience coaching people as well as my personal experience with these skills, there definitely seems to be one thing that most people don't necessarily consider that holds them back from achieving certainly the higher level of skills. They get to like the tuck planche, the tuck front lever, and then they can't get any further. So that's what we're going to cover in today's video. So most of the time people will train these straight arm skills in one of two ways. They do static movements, like just holding a planche position or just holding a front lever position. This is probably the basic level of training them. Not the best way, but it's not bad either. The next level up from that, they might start using some dynamic movements, which in my opinion is a lot better. There's a lot more gains from it. This might be things like a planche press, or something like a front lever pull, which is something I've covered in my front lever tutorial. Again, these are good, these are better, and providing other things are in place, this will probably get you the planche and the front lever. However, if this is not working, if you're stuck at this level, there's one thing that you might be forgetting, and that is the third way in which we can train these skills, and that is with bent arm strength. This is the one that people don't tend to focus on, but it's one that often is what's the lacking movement, and there's kind of a reason for this. And that's generally speaking, when we do training, we're only going to be able to go and peak as high as we can, depending on how wide our base level of conditioning is. Now, let me use an anecdote from my personal experience to kind of explain this. I came from a bodybuilding, a powerlifting background. I was used to doing a lot of weight in the gym, lifting weights, overhead press, bench press, all of that sort of stuff. So I had a good level of general strength in sort of just core movements. My base was pretty good. So when I went into bodyweight training and I started training things like the planche and the front lever, I initially got some really good progress because I had that level of strength there. So I was able to focus on the planche and front lever, make some good gains. But certainly a year, 2 years into this, I started just seeing this plateau and this point that I just couldn't get past, especially with the planche. Now, admittedly, I am 6'4", I'm 191 centimeters. That's pretty tall for calisthenics guys, which does make this significantly harder. But excuses aside, I wasn't getting through a certain point. No matter how much I tried with cool exercises, different techniques, better programming, I just couldn't get past this point. And I managed to get the front lever. With the planche, I just couldn't get it. So I ended up kind of pushing it aside, focusing on different goals. A few years later, I actually tore my supraspinatus, and I had to, drop my training down to just basic stuff just to get stronger and recover from that injury. As I was doing this, I was just doing core movements, push-ups, dips, pike push-ups, bodyweight rows, pull-ups, all of that basic stuff. The things that we don't necessarily like to do. 3 or 4 months later, when that injury had healed, I went to try a planche. It was twice as good as it had been in the past, and I hadn't done any planche training. The reason for this was I didn't have good enough base level of strength and just the basic movements to support me wanting to be good at the planche. And this was what was holding me back, despite all the straight arm strength skills I was doing. This is actually what led me to create the Bodyweight Basics programs. There's a program that's available on my site, it will be linked down below. And this was basically me designing a program that was, how can we build the best base for bodyweight training if we want to go and do handstand push-up, one-arm chin-up, planche, front lever. And it's something that we do for maybe 3 months and then come back to once a year just to make sure that that level of strength was still there and it hadn't gone. So if you are like this, if you're struggling with your planche and the front lever, I suggest maybe doing for 6 to 8 weeks, just doing some bent arm variations of those skills, just generally getting stronger at pushing and pulling. It's doing things like pseudo planche push-ups or doing things like tuck planche push-ups or front lever rows, and just generally doing pull-ups, chin-ups, pike push-ups, all of that basic conditioning. Do that 6 to 8 weeks, work hard at it, have a little bit of a deload, have a little bit of rest, and then come back and try your planche, try your front lever, see if it's improved. I would probably bet if you are stuck with your planche, your front lever, or your other straight arm skills, you do this, you give it a try, you'll probably see a significant improvement in that 6 to 8 weeks. If you don't, then maybe you're just not strong enough in general, you just need to give it more time and more consistency. Now, I know there's gonna be some questions that's gonna be saying how much bent arm strength and how much straight arm strength should I do, and I've heard various recommendations for the ratios between the two. I think 1-to-1 is actually a pretty good starting point. If you're doing a straight arm day, doing a bent arm day, not a bad shout. I think the main thing is to understand where your weaknesses are, make sure you have a good base level of just pushing and pulling strength, and then you can do the fancier straight arm strength training skills and get the most out of them. But with that being said, if you do want some actual specific advice from me, obviously you have Bodyweight Basics, which will be linked in the description down below. There is also my app called Tribe, which again, that has a bunch of programs on there for, just general beginners getting your first pull-ups, or also working on planche and the front lever and other things, as well as flexibility. And we've just added 30 new exercises to the exercise library on there, and it's constantly growing every single month. But apart from that, if you are gonna give this a try, or maybe you're 6 to 8 weeks down the line, you have given this a try, I would love to hear, one, if you are, and how you got on. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, join the conversation, let me know how you got on with this one. Other than that, you can hit that thumbs up button if you did enjoy this video and you want to support the channel. Right next to it is the subscribe button if you want to join the Bodyweight Warrior Tribe. We're so close to that 250,000. But that has basically been it for this week, guys. I'll catch you in the next episode. Have a strong week, and peace.